Oh my God, dude.
Dude,
I was not ready for this.
Is there like mayo in there or something?
What? I need some Welshes. Go to drinking lemon water.
No. We have sloth eyes.
If you're a terrorist,
It's like wings with no fucking ranch.
all right, everyone line up. It's time to be done. All right, let's do the sound cue.
That was really bad.
That's all right. Probably should have counted it down. That's all right.
I was thinking as we were extended, when are we going? When are we going?
Just clap.
And I waited on your clap to go, so that doesn't.
It's all right. I didn't announce it very well.
We weren't synced up last weekend either, though.
It's all right. It's all right. Sometimes if the speaker just speaks very articulately, it's easier to line up the audio in the video.
What's up, man?
Hey,
Welcome to the underground bunker that is my house.
we're at an undisclosed location,
deep
deep in the heart of Texas.
and deep underground.
And deep underground. If you're watching this, the world has ended, and we are your only form of entertainment.
So you can't change the channel. There's nowhere else to go.
This is it. You're stuck with us for the next week, year.
Yeah.
We're just going to do these
Just stand by
until we die.
Waiting for the next one to come
or
out.
until they open up the lid and let us out.
And we're calling this Studio B. So,
Studio B.
as you may know or can see, we're not at a couch.
That's true.
We're at a counter.
We're at a counter. We've changed the location strategically. It was a strategic move.
It was also to keep everybody on their toes.
It was. We don't want y'all getting too comfortable.
No. When they zig, we zag.
When you zig, we zag. And yeah, it's just we don't want
You're listening to The Hardpoint with One Punch Dad and Code Rome's.
Welcome to The Hardpoint. My name is Josh. I go by One Punch Dad online.
I'm Cody. I go by Code Rome's.
He goes by Code Rome's. Hey, this is episode 3, baby.
It is 3.
We're rocking and rolling.
It kind of feels like 2.
It kind of feels like, like we were just here doing episode 1.
Because I don't think we really announced this, but the first one, I guess we're revealing, we did back to back.
We did a double header, and it wore us out.
And yes, we changed shirts.
We did.
Between the last 2 episodes.
Y'all
so
thought.
Looked like it was 2 separate days, but
We
it was
were
one day.
We were pulling double duty that day, man.
So we went double header on day 1. My first day ever doing a podcast.
It is. He
Your
did
first
2.
time in a while, right?
First, yeah.
And then we did 2 in one day, and here we are, time warped 2 weeks later.
This feels a lot more relaxed. I'm liking the vibe already. 1 a day seems manageable. Not 1 a day, but 1 in a day.
It was a lot. It was fun, but man, at the end of the day, you and I were like, we had sloth eyes.
We were doing the Toy Story one eye at a time blink. It was rough, man. We sat there and we didn't have anything left to give the world after that. But I'm glad we did it.
We laid it all out on the line.
We laid it out on the line. We wanted to have
on the field.
We wanted to have a good bit of content to come out of the gate with. I think we did great.
Yeah.
Habitual Line Crosser came on the show. He was a darling. Thank you for doing that, buddy.
We all laid our bodies on the line.
We did. We were
day.
the sacrificial lambs, but we pulled it out, man. But I'm glad to be back here, man.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you. Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
I did. Typically, holidays for us are, going here, going there. We got multiple stops, multiple people to see. So I do love the holidays, but it typically equals or represents, being on the road and going places. It's usually not super relaxing.
There's two alternatives that are initially cool, but their appeal dies quick.
Right.
The one is you're going to someone else's house.
Yeah.
Which automatically the fuss level goes down substantially. So you're not having to do as much cleaning and prep work. Maybe you prepare a dish.
That's the biggest thing is if you go to somebody else's house, when you're ready to leave, you can just leave.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about cleaning up all your crap.
Yeah.
Because most people don't help.
You get your dish and your pot holders and you roll out, man.
Yeah. And then you do the Irish goodbye when you want to leave.
Yeah. You just dip.
That's my. I hate goodbyes.
I do too.
I don't.
They fill me with such sadness.
Well, but then when you have a room full of people and you're kind of scanning, like, how am I going to attack this goodbye?
Yeah. All right, everyone line up. Like a good game at a kids' athletics event.
And then you're having to, like, each person you get to, like, is this a dap situation? Is this a handshake situation?
And nothing
Is this a hug?
convolutes that more than the old dap handshake switcheroo.
turkey.
Like, yeah.
The turkey.
Yes.
Speaking of Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
we brought that all the way around.
Yeah, everyone. This is the accepted handshake.
It's
So so alternatively,
that's not good.
hosting, there's a little bit more work on the front end. You gotta, you want your place to be clean. You're probably preparing the bulk of the meal.
Yeah.
Right.
You gotta clean your house.
You gotta clean your house. You gotta put on that fucking sweater that you don't want to wear, and some khakis. But you're home, right? Like, it's your place. And at that point, as soon as the first guest walks in your door, it is a countdown of how do I get these people out of my fucking house?
As soon as 3, 2, 1, people are here, it's now
The clock is
the
ticking.
race to get them out. How do we get them out of here as soon as
get
possible?
Get them fed, get them docile, and move them
Smack
along.
their ass on the way out.
Yeah. Adios,
Get out of
muchachos. I agree.
But when you have people over at your house, then you have to deal with lingerers.
I have had my share of lingerers, and they're, growing up in the southern Midwest, you've got the old knee slap when you're ready for everyone to go, and you just slap the old knee. Some people pick up on that and they're like, time for me to go.
Yeah.
Others couldn't care less.
Got any food left?
Yeah.
Mind if I heat some up?
Yeah.
I'm going to go make a beer run. I'll be right back. How about you just don't come back?
Yeah, they come back and it's locked up. They can't.
All the lights are off and just nobody home.
Yeah.
Lingerers, man.
I don't know. They both have their merits. I think so we went up to my parents' house for Thanksgiving. It was nice because there wasn't a whole lot of fuss that I had to do aside from the odd, prepare or help prepare a side dish or whatever. But
ask if you need any help, but hoping they say no, you're good.
yeah. And luckily we're from the South. So anytime you go into a kitchen, you're like, hey, you guys need any help in here? You normally get shooed along your way, especially if you're a man.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Beat it.
Go hunt.
Yeah, what's the word? It's never worse when you walk in the kitchen. You're like, hey, you guys need any help in here? And they're like, yeah, can you chop this onion? Oh, no.
What?
Yeah. Sorry, I got to go be anywhere else but here suddenly. Yeah. But it's not bad. Thanks.
If you're having it at your house versus going somewhere, you're trading, like the trade-off is windshield time to a little bit of extra cleanup and trying to get people out of your house. And would you rather make the drive or deal with cleanup and ushering people out the front door?
It depends. I think sometimes, I'm never more peaceful than when I've sent everyone along their way and I am kind of doing because if I have a big gathering, I don't heap it upon myself to do a full-blown cleanup, restore to a baseline.
Sure.
Right then.
Yeah.
I will probably get everything to about a 70% solution. Yeah. Get the dishes staged to be done, not done.
Right.
And then I'm going to chill the fuck out.
Yeah. My big thing is just getting stuff off the counters.
Yes.
And maybe tidying. But you don't have to wipe stuff down. And
I can't chill in a dirty place.
Right.
When there's stuff just out, obviously there's food that you got to put in a Tupperware or whatever, but I will get it to about a 70% solution and then just let it be until I feel
good enough.
Good enough. Yeah. Good enough for me to chill and relax and not feel like the dishes are piled up or whatever. But yeah. Thanksgiving is the Thursday of holidays. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean.
Great way to put it.
Thanksgiving is tomorrow something really cool is going to happen.
Yeah.
Today's fine.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good to be around family, watch some football, eat some food that's not good for you. But
or not good.
You're turning around and at the max you've got maybe 1 to 3, 4 days off from work. You're going back to work very soon. But the holiday that's coming, that's the one I get
right around the corner.
It's right around the corner, baby. Talking about Christmas. That's
Christmas actually starts right after, unless you're us and we had your We had our tree up.
That's
for a month
dude.
now.
I don't.
When do you put your tree up?
We're out of town this year, obviously, but we normally air on the day after Thanksgiving, like
Okay.
that Friday, anywhere from that Friday to that Sunday before I go back to work. Normally, we'll probably do it sometime this coming week since we're out of town. But
When the clock struck 12 on November 1st,
wow,
I was instructed to drag that thing out of the attic.
get moving, get popping. Santa's coming.
It's November.
It's November.
It's time to put that thing up.
I have heard it said that November 1st to whatever January 2nd is Christmas time.
Yeah.
Like Christmas Day, Christmas season is probably, I'd say, the 2 weeks, 3
Yeah.
weeks surrounding Christmas proper.
Yeah.
But Christmas time, November 1st.
Yeah. So we had that tree up since November 1st, and this is how long it feels like it's been since we put it up. We were planning on putting lights on the outside of the house.
Yeah.
And that thing's been up for so long that at this point it feels like, well, we waited too long to put them up on the outside. It's not even worth it. Christmas will be here in a month. That's not
Yeah.
long enough,
Yeah, literally,
that's long enough to put lights on the outside of the house, but that's been up for so long that it feels like we're way too late to party.
It's because putting up Christmas lights as you know, as the head of my household, I will say it's a joyous activity. It's something that I actually kind of get amped for. I don't have like a system. We have whatever lights we're going to get or whatever lawn decorations. I kind of stand back and I'm like, what are we working with this year?
Kind of direct traffic a little bit.
Taking that shit down, putting it back in the box, nothing more depressing.
Well, that tree that we bought over there, as you can see,
Yeah.
just barely
Y'all can't see it, but I
barely
can.
out of frame.
Yeah, could not be there. Y'all don't know.
So it came in like a appropriately sized box. Like it fit in the car, you know.
Yeah.
I took it all out. And that thing, I have to drag that. It's 4 separate pieces. And I have
Yeah.
to drag it piece by piece up into the attic. Because it doesn't fit in the box. I maybe skip that part. It does not go back in the box that it came in.
Oh, no.
And that
Yeah.
box doesn't fit up the gap to go up to the attic anyway. So that's a 4. I put my life on the line.
Once you fluff the tree one time, and if you're a terrorist and you're pulling your tree out, letting the arms fall down and just calling it good, you're not doing it the right way. You got to fluff the tree. You got to splay the limbs out to make it feel full.
That has auto splay.
It has auto splay.
When you go upright with it, they fall.
Okay.
And when you turn it up down,
Is it a
upside-
gravity thing or is it, you made it sound like tree deploying.
No, it's not a robot. It's a gravity fed automatic.
You said it like it's a patented tree design. Oh, this tree has auto splay.
I just meant you don't have to manually pull each little thing down. When
Okay.
you go upright with it, gravity automatically.
That sounds like every other tree. That's what I was saying.
I thought you said you had to like.
Well, no, okay. So
I'm saying they
the
fall.
the arm gravity does the work of
Yes.
making the arm fall, but then the limbs are still scrunched, and you got to unscrunch them. You didn't unscrunch your limbs, did you?
No.
I mean,
No.
it's fine.
We fooled you. You didn't say anything.
Well,
Quit looking at it now.
now I'm looking at it, and you might wake up and find a fuller tree in your living room. Just saying. It looks delightful. I'm excited for Christmas, though. I think Thanksgiving, like I said, it's a good precursor to a more fun holiday.
It is. And if you took an honest poll, how many people would reveal that they would just outright skip Thanksgiving if an option?
Like if I could clip it out and Christmas becomes closer each year.
Well, yeah, or just don't do it. Just,
Ugh.
whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like
You like the food though, right?
the food's okay. We talked about the food being kind of mid at best. Like,
I'm picky, and so nothing about Thanksgiving food appeals to me.
Yeah.
And so it's just one of those things. I was always the kid that had like a roll and a scoop of mashed potatoes, and then how we grew up, you're like picked on for not eating a fat plate times 3.
Yeah.
And so I had like a roll, a little piece of meat that I don't plan on touching because I don't like it, but I got to stage the plate.
Turkey is ass, dude.
And then some mashed potatoes, and then everybody's like, "Oh, is that all you're gonna eat?" And
It really, nothing evokes cafeteria food like Thanksgiving food to me. I will say I've come around on I love stuffing.
It's questionable.
Stuffing's pretty good. You don't question it. You just eat it. And then I know you're not going to like this, but I love green bean casserole.
I actually can get down on that.
You really?
Except there's something weird in there, isn't there?
It's the green beans.
No. Is there like mayo in there or something?
No. What?
There's some name. It's list the ingredients.
Okay. It's green beans, fully cooked, cream of mushroom soup.
That
you don't like that? That's what?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm
you would
good.
rather have just a handful of green beans with some crispy onions on top then?
If the two options are that or that with mushroom stuff, yeah.
Dude, that's what makes it good.
Well, no thanks.
Okay,
thanks.
all right. What about mac and cheese?
Love it.
Okay.
Love it.
But you can have that all year round. It's
Yeah.
not, you don't have to wait.
Yeah,
You know?
love it.
If you eat green bean casserole in July, you're fucking weird. Or stuff. My dad.
What are you having for dinner tonight?
Yes.
Green bean casserole.
Yeah. Leave that mushroom shit out though.
Yeah.
It's fine. I always like Christmas because it feels like this is prime video game season for
Absolutely.
me. This is like, I feel like in the summer, you and I both kind of fall off. Like at best, we're maybe playing a couple rounds of Call of Duty
Yeah.
on the odd weekend. But man, oh man, like the cold weather comes and I want to snuggle up. I want to get in my jammies and play some fucking video games.
100%. That's definitely the time for it. And I mean, you said it right. We're going to circle back to this later, but I think we kind of relate to this in this sense. I'm a man of phases. Like I go through phases. I'll be heavy on something and then it'll disappear. So video games, definitely like November, December, even into January, February, wintertime.
Yeah.
Heavy.
When it sucks to be outside anyway.
Yeah.
And I do also like a lot, that happens with a lot of things. Like I don't want to read a book in the middle of summer. I really don't. I don't know if it's the
Right.
weather. At best, I'll probably throw an audiobook on. But the idea of snuggling up and reading a book or like sitting on my ass and reading a book, that doesn't really sound appealing until November rolls around. And then I'm like, oh, I'll read.
I think it's partly that's cold, partly the cold, partly sometimes just kind of like the doomy, gloomy weather that puts you in that vibe. But it's also something about there's nothing better I could be doing. I can't go outside.
Right.
It's freezing. It's shit weather outside.
You could, but you're
know.
going to be miserable.
Right.
Yeah.
So while I'm inside with nothing else to do, it's like the perfect excuse to play video games
yes.
is winter.
I think so. It's very guilt-free video game time that I get that doesn't feel like, well, I could be cleaning up my garage. Like, I'm not going to do that. It's
Right.
20 degrees outside.
It's hard when it's a nice day, 70 degrees, beautiful outside to be playing. I mean, I've done it, but normally, like, I feel pretty guilty for not enjoying a nice day. The winter is the perfect time for that.
I agree. It feels very conducive for a lot of things because I'm admittedly kind of an indoor kid, but that is the time of year where I feel like I can do those things without feeling like I should have been moving cinder blocks or something.
Chopping wood.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, speaking of video games, we can segue into a topic we wanted to talk about. So I had 2 points, and that's about GTA 6.
I like where this is headed.
So I don't know if it would be a fact. I found a point online from a video that blew my mind about this game. And then I have a thought to bounce off of you.
$1 billion.
That is one of them. That's
Okay.
not the one I'm going to bring up.
Okay.
So somebody said that the graphical jump from Red Dead 2 to GTA 6
Yes.
is supposed to be bigger than the jump from GTA 5 to Red Dead 2.
That,
Now, wrap your head around that.
well, I'm thinking about it because we both had a really romantic period with Red Dead 2, right? We played the shit out of that game. It's a beautiful game. And just like little subtle things like just the movement of your character, the business that your character has. We've talked all about like getting coffee and walking around your campsite and all that stuff, like how good the small minutia in that game feels. I finished a couple playthroughs of that and thought, well, this GTA 5 is probably just that, just maybe,
Right.
maybe not as polished, right? It is a significant jump back.
It really is. Because GTA 5 came out in 2013, right?
It is. It's 10 years old. Which just blows my mind.
They've done. I kind of fell off of it, but they did like a next gen jump. But then recently, like within the last year, they did like another jump.
Yeah.
And It's a big difference. With the GTA news, I'm playing Red Dead right now because that game just has a crazy gravitational pull on me. And so I'm just kind of in this like Rockstar, interest right now.
Yeah.
And I was looking up videos of GTA 5 and it looks like a last gen game.
It does.
In Red Dead 2, it could come out. I think I already said this on this podcast. It could come out today.
And that would be fine.
And it would be still a mind-blowing game.
There are so many games that, and I don't think this means that they're bad games, because a lot of studios can't afford to say, hey, we're going to take 8 years
Right.
and pour into one thing.
Right.
But there's so many good games that I feel like once you have played something as polished as Red Dead 2, you start to realize how many things it paid such careful attention to detail
Right.
to. I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima right now on PlayStation. Beautiful game, very similar in the fact that you're kind of traipsing around this world on a horse with a sword instead of a 6-gun, but there are things in that game that just don't move right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not even a very video gamey game. Like
Right.
there's a lot of it that I think, it tries to mirror realism, but Red Dead really spoiled a lot of that in other games for me, in a sense. Like if a game like Star Wars is a prime example, the Jedi Survivor games,
Yeah.
like, or what was the one before that? Fallen Order.
Yeah.
I couldn't play it because the character moved around like a fucking cartoon character. Yeah, like just the way he jumps, like it's like he looks like Crash Bandicoot to me. And I know it's a good game inherently, but coming fresh off the heels of Red Dead, I just could not.
Right.
I couldn't do it, man. The polish.
So what do you think about that? Like what could GTA 6 possibly? I can't even fathom that. Like the jump from 5 to Red Dead 2
Massive.
was so huge that you look at Red Dead and you're almost like, how does it get that much better than that? And so for that to have a even bigger jump, what would that even look like?
I think honestly, like the things that make Red Dead feel better and more real to me than Grand Theft Auto 5 are the little things that your character can do. Like obviously, like once you're in a firefight and you're looking over a guy's shoulder, which is not really like, even in a movie, like that would be a weird perspective to have on a character. So that really doesn't contribute to a game feeling more or less real, the gunfighting necessarily. But it's the little things you can do in the world, I think, that immerse me. And it's not like your character just waving their hand and like, oh, you picked up a cup.
Right.
No, if you pick up a cup in that game, Arthur's going to pick it up. He might spin it around, kind of look at it. And then he puts it in a satchel and it disappears or whatever, clips out of the frame. But everything that your character can do in that game is not hand waved.
Sure.
It's all, you can smoke a cigarette.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you sit at the bar, you order a drink, you get the drink, you choose when to drink the drink.
Right,
You can choose to sip the drink or slam the drink.
Right.
You get a pot of stew, you can eat it bite by bite. You
Right.
can walk over and watch the sunset, eat your stew. You can slam it. You know what I mean? It's little things like that to me that just made the world real. It wasn't like the gunfighting is gunfighting. You know what I mean?
So you think the jump might be more about just like real world activities and immersiveness, and not just like eyeball graphics, like just the way that it looks?
I think so. I mean, I think if you look at the eyeball graphics of like Red Dead 2, the faces don't look great. I mean, they look pretty good. Like, most of the main characters that got, mocap performances behind their, at least in the cutscenes, they look really good. Right. And I would hazard to say there's a lot of it that kind of does cross the uncanny valley of looking like, golly, that looks like a sunset, or that looks like a real guy or whatever. But
having weather plays a big factor in Red Dead. And if you could bring that, it's been a long time since I've played GTA 5. I don't remember weather.
I think it does rain in that game, but you mentioned weather in Red Dead 2. It goes so much deeper than like, oh, it rains and snows here.
Right.
It is, I'm in a swamp and there's mist all around me, and I actually cannot see my character very well. I just see his silhouette.
That's a good point. Different parts of the map have different, you got the snowy mountains, you got the desert, you got the swamp, and the weather
and
changes.
just the way they work with like light, like when you're in Saint Denis and there's light kind of coming at you, and again it's kind of the silhouette effect and you can't see really well, but it also evokes the sense of like walking into a sunset and being kind of like, oh, guy, I can't really see that well. But it's not in a way that's like, oh, the devs just got lazy. It's like they wanted you to feel like when you're walking with the sun in your eye.
It's what it feels like.
That's what it feels like. Yeah. And those are the little things to me. And so with GTA 6, and you're in a world now that's modern, right? You've got glass front buildings, you've got cars, which is one thing about Grand Theft Auto 5. There's a couple mods that kind of get after the lighting in that game and making the lighting look more real. But when you're working with cars, I think it's something like Forza does really well. Of like a car looks a certain way at night.
Yeah.
It really
more
does.
reflections.
Yeah.
And
a car in a downtown area with a lot of neon lighting and halogen light bouncing off of it versus driving down an old country road. Those are two completely different looks. Those are the things that I hope that they're talking about when they say it's such a monumental jump. I want to see them incorporate a lot of things that the mod community went into Grand Theft Auto 5 and said, let's make this look more real.
Yeah. Because some of those like max settings, GTA 5 mods that you can find on YouTube, like the little videos, look stunning. I mean, it looks like Red Dead 2, but Grand Theft Auto. It looks like they did it.
Those things that bring it a little bit closer to being, is that? Oh, okay, that is a game. Wow. Like GTA 5 vanilla out of the box doesn't make me ask that question.
No, it doesn't. And it's interesting because Red Dead it's all nature. You're all outside. It's trees, it's foliage, it's just landscape. And Grand Theft Auto is going to be a lot of hardscapes and cities. And I wonder what's easier. There will be like, some outdoor parts to Grand Theft Auto 6, no doubt.
Right.
But what's easier to make look photorealistic, like a building or a tree?
I have no idea because I remember playing Red Dead for the first time when it came out 5 years ago, which is crazy. But it was the scene right at the beginning where you're coming out of the mountains finally and your wagon wheel falls off. And I kind of tilted the camera to where it was kind of looking through like a pine tree.
Right.
And I realized every pine needle on that particular branch that I was kind of panned over was there.
Yeah.
And so it was how painstaking that was for a dev. Maybe not, whatever. They probably just like copy paste pine needle and made a tree, but
you had to do that in the first place.
Yes, exactly. And the fact that light will pass through that tree now, like a pine tree, at least for me, the player, that's a humongous difference. Yeah. So again, we're talking about like cityscapes, brick versus glass versus, what does it feel like and look like to walk through? I'd be interested to see what your take on the locale is going to be. I think we had talked about my guess being probably Vice City.
Yeah. I think having like a multiple city thing would be cool.
It would. I think that's cool if you make it matter. I think that kind of goes back to like the Starfield problem of if you're going to give me, let's just as a for instance, right? Let's say they're going to go full bore. We're going to have parts of Liberty City, parts of Vice City, and, maybe parts of Los Santos, or maybe it's a DLC later on, whatever. But maybe 3 or 4 or even 2 distinct actual cities from the Grand Theft Auto lore. Can I drive those distances? Can I go to the airport, buy a ticket, and fly between those two? Does it matter in the story? There's this sense of like you can make your open world game as big as you want to, but if going to those different places doesn't make me feel like I'm traversing that equivalent distance, then I'd just make it one city.
I would, I'd rather take the map that's smaller, but it's more alive, it's more detailed, there's more stuff to do, than the Starfield approach that's seemingly endless.
Yes.
But it's boring and empty. What do you think about, so you're saying GTA 6 maybe having like parts of existing or old maps versus just like a whole new, like a brand new map, not parts of existing games, previous games?
I think they could. I think they really have done a really good job up to now of making each of those locales that we know so far, so Los Santos, Liberty City, and Vice City, all have their own personality, and they also obviously all have like a real world equivalent, but they really have not missed as far as, hey, this is a new city. We're making a statement with the city. This city it's LA and Compton. This city is Miami. This city is New York. I think GTA 4 and GTA 3 both use Liberty City.
Yeah.
But in GTA 4, they said, you know what, we're going to be New York City. They straight up essentially mirrored the map off of Brooklyn, Manhattan, and I think Long Island, which is fine. But if they're going to do that with a new city, if they're going to, let's say as a hypothetical, they do Vegas. You know what I mean?
Dude, that'd be pretty cool.
I think that would be great. I think you've got a lot of stuff there. Like Vegas has a lot of like racetracks on the outskirts of town. There's lots of weird stuff with Area 51 they could do.
That'd be cool. And then just the Central Strip, of course. I mean, that map that you sent me the other day that looked kind of like Florida, it does look like to be a pretty commonly believed map for the next one, and it looks big. It looked 2 or 3 times the size of GTA 5. So
it does. I think that if they do go with that, like if they do say we're gonna do Florida with Miami being the central, focus area, city or whatever, I think that's a pretty good way for them to kind of establish a setting that mirrors modern America, right? Because GTA is always going to do that, right? They're always going to have some kind of political inroad. Not that they're overly political. If anything, it's all satire for them, right? But I think even going back to GTA 5, like the way the phones look and kind of some of the banter on the radio is like, man, there's some really 2013 ass conversations they're having, aren't they? Wow. So I think that's actually pretty viable as a likelihood that we just get a big, if we say Vice City, we get Vice City, and then surrounded by that, we basically have the Everglades. Yeah. Some of the kind of backwoods towns that you might find.
You talk about being an interesting place. Florida has some of that kind of weird stuff going on. The idea of like having some swampy areas, some just the back ass woods parts of Florida. And then you
small
have
town vibes in some places, big city, just like.
Then you got the ocean, then you got the glitz and the glamour of Miami. Like that just like the, I don't know the word I'm looking for, just the variance there.
Exactly. It's the dichotomy, I think, of just, the juxtaposition of Florida by itself is just a bonkers state.
Right.
Like it really is. Like if you chopped that off and was like, this is all you have to learn about America.
Yeah.
You get a pretty mixed bag of everything that is essentially America. So
weird shit happening in Florida.
Oh yeah. Florida's
Grand Theft Auto would have a great take on that and put it in a game, I think it'd be awesome.
I think so. So all in all, I'd say I'm looking forward to it. I honestly, I'm of the mind that if they just give me as good of quality of life, we'll call it, in Red Dead, where I'm able to not just be in that world and stand in the middle of whatever Times Square, whatever they're going to have, but go through some of the shops, interact with the denizens on the level that I could in Red Dead 2, proprietary businesses like you can in Red Dead 2. I think that's what's going to make it interesting. Honestly, if the graphical jump is not that much more significant, that's not a big deal for me. I want it to feel real more than I need it to look real.
That's interesting. That brings me to my next point. So I wanted to bounce off of you the thought of, is it possible that this game is being overhyped?
Oh, absolutely.
Can it, it can be overhyped, but is it possible that we're reword it. Are we expecting too much?
So, absolutely. I think in terms of, and this goes back to like what I really expect this game to be, and understanding that regardless of how far we've come in the 5 years since Red Dead or the 10 years since GTA 5, you're not going to be able to make a game with this without raking the developers over the coals.
Right. Yeah.
There are people who probably never want to play this game once it goes gold, because they gave it everything that they had and probably laid some of their own life on the line to get this game out.
And want nothing to do with it once it's out.
That said, and actually maybe even related to a lot of like the politically charged and the racially charged stuff that's going to inevitably make its way into this game, and whatever the story or the locale ends up being, I think that is going to open the door for some people to give the story maybe a B.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't need the story. Red Dead 2, again, like I know y'all are thinking that we overhype this game, but
boy, these guys really like Red Dead 2.
I really like Red Dead. The story was immaculate.
Yeah.
It really is a great story. I will tell you that if that story had been forgettable, I still would have loved that game because the world was so fun to inhabit. So
it's kind of what put it over the top, right? It just had, it did everything right. It excelled at everything.
Yes. Give me the tools to make whatever main character or characters you're going to give me mine, and let me build their experiences and make their choices for them, and let those choices feel real. And the story can be, honestly, like realistically, what's it going to be? It's going to be like a heist story,
Right.
probably,
Yeah.
right? Car theft, bank robberies, that type of, classic GTA fare, which is fine. I don't need that stuff to reinvent the wheel so much as I want this world to feel inhabited.
I agree. I don't think a lot of people feel that way. I think
Yeah.
if GTA 6 is Red Dead 2 Grand Theft Auto, like if it's if it's Red Dead 2, but then just the next GTA
Yeah.
6, I think that will disappoint people.
I think so.
They want it to be something mind-blowing. Like I think people are expecting this is going to be something, unlike we've never seen. It's going to melt my brain. It's going to be so awesome. Like it's kind of being set up for failure, and it might pass. Oh, man.
Time will tell, man. It's a thing of like, when you got billions of dollars, because again, that's another like an interesting note about this game is that it is past the $1 billion mark in terms of production.
Right.
That amount of money doesn't go into a thing, and it's not at least kind of fun to watch.
That's a good point.
I don't see this game spending that much money on itself and then being a clunker.
Taking a decade and yeah. I guess I saw somebody pose the thought like, are we asking too much of it? And I thought it was interesting because up until this point, I just kind of thought it was a write-in. This game's going to change video games. Everybody's going to be mind blown. It's going to be the greatest thing anybody's ever seen. And then somebody simply asked, are we asking too much of this game? And I thought it was interesting, I
really don't, when you think of like Halo 2 to Halo 3, those are both great games. Halo 3 didn't, it's not as if Halo 2 crawled so that Halo 3 could run. Like
Right.
you look at those games now and they're both just two really good games.
Right.
I would be more than satisfied if GTA 6 comes out and it's as enjoyable as Red Dead 2 is.
Yeah.
I don't need it to throw a Hail Mary and give me some kind of otherworldly experience.
Right.
It's a video game, man.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm going to be in my pajamas, lean
Yeah.
back on a couch or in a chair
with a whiskey
and a little controller in my lap. I mean, realistically, like you're not taking me on any journey I haven't been on at that point. Tell me a good story. Give me a world that's fun to fuck around in. Make the cars look cool. If it's Grand Theft Auto, like the car mechanics have to be good, right?
Yeah.
The cars have to be cool in that game. They have to look good. I'm not a car guy. You're a car guy, so I imagine you go into it with the expectation of, hey, if I'm going to work this hard or whatever, go do this mission and steal this very specific car, or
Right.
I want it to look
cool if
badass.
it drove nice.
Exactly, like tuning and all that stuff. I really feel like they probably do need to spend a little more time on the actual meta aspect of, hey, can you tune a car? Can you get in there and, swap out parts and instead of just being like, oh, I put a turbo in it. All right.
No, I think that's a very like realistic way to look at this game. I know some people are, they're looking at it through the lens of it's been 10 years. It's Rockstar. If it's not this, then it's going to be a disappointment.
I think that's the reason why a lot of good games now only get like a C rating, B rating. There's so many good games coming out right now, but because they can't achieve that Red Dead level of 8 years and millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars of polish, we just kind of write them off.
Yeah.
And I'm talking specifically about AAA. I know there's a strong contingent of people who only play games that are, just kind of one-offs from Steam. HLC came on last week. He's a big player of PC only. Your Star Citizens and stuff like that. They don't need any game to be Red Dead. Sure. But I think for me, having watched people like, your sister, who's a good friend of ours, who's not really a gamer, come into a game like Red Dead and play it all the way through and complete a lot of the side quests and have it be an experience for her. That's what made Red Dead different than something like, I think, Star Citizen, where it's accessible in a way that people who don't really play video games, you got grandpas on TikTok who are streaming Red Dead,
right?
Because it makes them feel like a cowboy. That's that's special.
Yeah, very true. Well, you want to move on to Ob-SESH-on?
Oh my God, yes.
Woo! All right, baby. This is the debut. We talked in the first episode that we would, the first two episodes were more riffing, and moving forward, we would have more of a structured approach. which I don't know how structured this episode's been up until now. It's kind of been riffing, but I had a good idea for a segment, and here's the start. The segment is called Ob-SESH-on.
Okay.
Ob-SESH-on.
I like that. I don't know what it's going to be, but the name sold me.
Yeah.
Because I love a good sesh.
Yeah, peek behind the curtains. I haven't told him anything. So basically the basis of this is to kind of round back to the point earlier in the show. I am a man of phases and kind of random obsessions. I will find stuff that I go crazily obsessed with, and it could last half a day, a few hours. It could last weeks, but I'll get stuff on my brain that I stumble across, whether it be a game or a type of music or a topic or this or that, and I can't scratch that itch until I just find out everything about it.
Got it. Yeah, I feel
so,
that.
This first week, a few weeks ago, was on TikTok, and I found a video of a guy that was rummaging through these abandoned houses at night with a flashlight, and the caption said something along the lines of this guy acts like he could just load his third save at any point. Basically just ain't no way in hell I'd be doing what this guy is doing, right?
Yeah.
And he's got this very just smart ass, funny approach. He's commentary the entire time that he's filming, flashlight, busting all these places, obviously trespassing, scary looking scene. And it's just what the fuck is this guy doing? You know? So I go into that page, I start looking at more videos, look at the comments, and the comments lead me to a YouTube page.
Okay.
They're all basically saying, hey, I found this video. Here's the full length on YouTube. And it's a YouTube channel called Vagrant Holiday. Does that ring a bell? Have you ever heard of that?
No, I'm coming in cold on this.
Okay. So Vagrant Holiday, I do some research, and basically it's a guy who posts travel videos.
Okay.
Which to me is not that exciting, not something I would normally watch. But the catch is he'll go overseas. So he's got one in Japan, he's got one in Europe, got one in Mexico. He'll go overseas for anywhere for 30 to 45 days, but he refuses to pay for accommodations. So I'm talking about sleeping in the bushes.
Oh.
He'll land, start recording. He's like, there's my sleeping bag, there's my pack. He's like, well, I got to find somewhere to hide my shit, so I don't look homeless. So he'll stuff his stuff in some bushes somewhere. He'll go hide it. And then he'll go fuck around in the city. He will he just straight up trespasses. He'll be in Europe, and there'll be this giant cathedral being built with all the scaffolding and everything. Yeah. And he'll make his way into the construction, make his way all the way to the top of that castle or church or whatever, and just be like, well, this is cool, whatever. And so I found it so fascinating. I actually wanted to play audio, and then I found out I couldn't because
license
copyright or
copyrights,
whatever that means.
Get out of here.
But he's got this very arrogant, comedic, I don't give a fuck approach to everything that he does, right? So he's got, this is kind of where it starts to get weird, right? So that was interesting enough, right?
Yeah, okay.
These videos are anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, and it's him just sleeping in the bushes, sleeping in woods, going around, trespassing, looking at stuff, going places you're not really supposed to be, right? Mm-hmm. And so that alone was kind of interesting to me. I don't know. I watched all of his videos. So here's where it gets a little weird.
Okay.
On his YouTube, there's only 8 videos total.
Yeah.
So this channel has 250K subscribers.
Yeah.
His description says something along the lines of this is purely for fun. I don't make profits. I don't care about making profits. Whatever. I'm just throwing this up for no reason,
Right.
So in his last video, there's a couple different things. In his last video that he posted, which was in, don't look at my screen. I have notes over here. The latest video was May of 2021.
Oh, okay. Been a minute.
With his original, the very first video being posted on December 17th. So December 17th to May 2021, he posted 8 videos doing this.
Okay.
In his last one, in Mexico, he gets robbed.
Oh.
Gets all his shit taken, and he is kind of fearful and I don't know. It's just, got my shit taken, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Never had this happen. Been all over the world doing this, never had this happen. Has not posted again. And to make it a little bit more weird, the video right before that, the riots in Seattle.
Yeah.
The crazy
they
crazy
shut
one.
part of the town down. Yeah.
So he's got a video called Riot Holiday. And it's him just, he's not doing anything. He's just videoing and all this stuff, right?
Okay.
He's just kind of there, just taking footage of what's going on.
Yeah.
And so there's some story about some murder that happened with a gun that got traced back to this other guy who sold the guy that killed him the gun, right?
Yeah.
The guy that sold him the gun is seen in this guy's video stealing it out of the back of a police car. And it was a police officer's gun that did that murder, right?
What?
And so I start going down a rabbit hole. This is me like, holy fuck, what is going on?
I thought you were gonna be like, I tried air hockey. I forgot how fun air hockey is. No, keep going.
So if you type in, I didn't even get this guy's name. I should probably do that. I'll put it up on the screen. Sorry. Slightly. I was prepared, but I kind of missed this part. Right? Vanna White.
Right there.
I did it last time. I'll remember it. So whoever he got charged like for life or whatever.
Yeah.
But this guy just happened to be walking around taking the videos, and you can see this guy reach in the back of a police officer, take out this rifle, and they traced it back to that guy. So this guy, Vagrant Holiday, he has a Reddit page, like so many things do.
Yeah.
And people, like it's conspiracy theories. The first one is this guy even alive? Because his last video was the one in Mexico where he got robbed.
Yeah.
So is he even alive? Like he was doing all this crazy shit, trespassing, like going places that you really shouldn't go. And Mexico can get a little hairy, right?
Yeah.
So some people are like, is this guy is he
And it's
even
been
alive?
almost, I mean,
It's been like 2 years.
2 years. Yeah.
The second one, the riot video, like it charged some guy to life with murder, his video that he took.
Yeah, just by happenstance.
Right. So is there something like he was approached and like, I don't know, you need to stop doing, I don't even know, but does that have something to do with it? Or did he just get bored and stop posting? Because he was always very upfront, like, I don't make money, I'm just doing this for fun. Like
That's the least interesting outcome. I feel like he gets robbed in New Mexico. He's like, you know what? YouTube is dumb. I'm not doing this for profit anyway. And then just goes home and like starts working at Kroger.
right. Maybe. I like to believe one of the other two because it's way more interesting.
That is interesting. Oh my God, dude.
Dude,
I was not ready for this.
I'm telling you, it got me so hard that I had dreams about this and about this guy and about these videos. And for like 72 hours, and you cannot see his face. There's no picture. Like all of his videos are like, just videoing and then like a flashlight or whatever.
Yeah.
He never shows his face. You can't find, he says in one of his videos, like, I don't like social media. It's for fucking losers. And
Dude is dominating.
yeah, so he just, like, he doesn't give a fuck. And I don't know what he looks like. You don't know who he is. And people are being driven crazy by, like, there's only 8 of these videos. They're so unique. There's nothing out there like it. And where is this guy? Is he going to post again?
Dude, it's crazy how little has to happen in some videos for you for an internet, like a creepypasta, like
Right.
weird rabbit hole to open up.
Yeah.
That's terrifying, honestly.
he released-
I'm legitimately afraid for that guy.
He released the first episode in 2017. So it's not like this is that, it's not that old, but it's not that new. It's been 6 years. Yeah. And I just learned
Enough
about
time
it.
for like the theories to start popping up.
And something about, it might be like this wave of, the guy that posted it on TikTok that I originally saw it from was not this guy. It's just some guy taking these videos and posting them.
That happens all the time.
And as you can see, I'll post a link down in the description. I can't actually show any of this. So you can go check. I would encourage you, if you're listening, go look.
Vagrant Holiday.
So that subscriber count it's been steady going up though. When I found it like a week or two ago, it was like in the 220s.
So
like,
he's having a moment.
He's having a moment, but look at these view counts: 562, 570. Like this one's got 1.4 million. I mean, he's got views.
Yeah.
That's all.
It's too bad he doesn't like profit because he'd be doing all right in the YouTube game, honestly.
But he has this like, you can see the aesthetic. He doesn't show himself. I mean, It's so fascinating.
That's creepy, man. I like that.
It's even creepier when you've like seen some of the video, which I was really hoping I could have some audios and show a clip. I'll show you some stuff later.
It's crazy how when there's some creepiness tied to a thing, how like even something that like anytime someone's like, oh, this is the last photograph taken of this individual before they died.
Right. Yeah.
That's creepy to me. That really unsettles me. So like all that, I mean, and especially not knowing if that dude's alive or not.
It's the unknowing. And you kind of, in a weird way, you come to like him because his commentary it's very sarcastic. It's very it's just, I don't give a fuck attitude, you know, but it's funny and you learn to like this faceless figure through these videos. And it's like, you just want another one. It's so unique. And I mean, this one is, I know this is the audio medium, train hopping.
Yeah.
He has a whole video. He goes like from Seattle to somewhere halfway across America, literally just train hopping to show you. And he gets like caught at one point and he's just hopping on and like riding this train like across America.
That's terrifying.
There's the Riot Holiday one, Forbidden Island. So there's some island off of, I don't know, close to Washington that has like an insane asylum on it.
Really?
It's completely forbidden. Hence the title.
Yeah.
Trespassing.
Don't go
there. And he just kayaks up to the edge, hides his boat, waits till dark, goes through all these abandoned houses of people that used to live there. There's an abandoned prison, and then sneaks into this insane asylum and sneaks out and then just kayaks away.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to watch some of
Dude,
this, man.
It's so crazy. I'll link it in the description. If you're anything like me and you like creepy, just mysterious, weird stuff, I would check this dude out. I mean, it's very weird.
I get down with that. I like this segment. I
There's
thought
a-
you were going to say, like, I started drinking lemon water.
No, dude.
I'm
wanted to make
obsessed.
it-
Obsession.
There's Ob-SESH-on, round one.
Oh, yeah. Hey, playing for keeps. That was good. That's good. I like this. I like coming in cold to it, honestly.
Okay, all right.
I do.
We talked about this right before, and I was like, you know, maybe we'll find out if this is a good idea or if I should fill you in beforehand.
It is. I like it. I think I don't know what it is. I liked being creeped out a little bit.
Yeah.
Man. In a little bit, it's like I actually don't like horror movies. Horror movies to me are dumb. I think it's because the stakes are always like, in horror movies, the stakes are always so high that they're inherently low to me. I just like, okay, man, I don't know.
Yeah.
Main character probably going to die. I don't care.
It
You know
is.
what I mean?
It's like a sprinkle of creepy, like a little bit of mystery, a little bit of creepy, a little bit of like, I think there's something going on here, but I'm
Yes.
not sure, or like there's something going on, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
You know, that I'm very interested in.
It reminds me to like, it's funny that you were mentioning that because I was actually like thinking to myself today about ghosts, which is weird. I'm gonna relate it, but the idea of ghosts, like I've never been sold, like I've never seen a ghost. I'm not necessarily convinced that ghosts aren't real or whatever, but
Right.
I believe that occurrences have energy.
Yeah.
And so when you go to a place like an abandoned insane asylum or an abandoned hospital or something like that, or even like a battlefield, like that place has an energy.
Right.
And when people especially go to the ones they're not supposed to, I don't know, like there's something about that's pretty exciting to me because it's like they're experiencing, I don't know that they're necessarily like, ooh, it's haunted, but like, it's like they're experiencing a very unique energy in that place.
Yeah. Dude, I totally agree. There's something there.
There's-
And this Forbidden Island one I'll show you later, but I mean, you're watching it and you're like, dude, you could not pay me $1 zillion to go do that.
I do. Dude, some people run to that stuff, man.
Yeah.
It's bonkers to me. Couldn't be me. I spook easy. All right, let's do some questions.
All right. Want me to go first?
Yeah. Yeah, buddy.
All right. This was written in by Skip Nip.
Skip Nip on
Skip
Discord.
Nip.
Thanks, Skip Nip.
Thanks, Skip Nip. Really appreciate it. With a cool dinosaur picture.
Hey, looks good.
All right. This is like a 3-part question.
All right, send
Part
it.
1.
All right.
Waffles or pancakes?
I wasn't ready.
That is a tough one. That's not immediately obvious to
No,
me.
it's not. Like if the other one's going to go away forever, I'm going to have to say waffles.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. My first thought would be to say waffles, and then when I close my eyes and think about eating Both of them.
You go pancakes.
I think I enjoy the pancake. I do like waffles. I think with waffles, there's a lot more like variation from waffle to waffle as far as like size, crispiness, thickness, all that stuff.
There is. Pancakes just all soft.
Kind of is what it is.
It is.
You know?
It is what it is. But also, like, it's the same stuff. Like, it's literally the same batter, just prepared differently. It's like taco or burrito could be the same, but it's not.
No.
I
think, dude, pancakes, which just kind of gets into the second part, which I won't say yet, but pancakes slathered in butter, slathered in butter, and like an entire bottle of syrup on it, just sopping wet, where it's like falling apart. I can't get it with the fork, you know.
You know what makes me want to go pancakes? It's not actually just regular pancakes.
Vanilla pancakes.
Well, I mean, hey, have you ever had a McGriddle?
Yeah.
It's the breakfast sandwich
think so.
with the pancake
bun,
syrup, inner worked bun.
Yeah.
That's what makes me want to lean back to pancakes, because that
You
with
have to say that with a waffle
doesn't work.
A waffle bun would be kinda weird.
Can't do a McWaffle.
Sometimes you get scrape mouth.
Hands will get sticky
with the super crispy waffle too.
You do, but I feel like a really good like hotel waffles where they let you pour the batter and flip it yourself. You get the crispy outside, but the warm battery inside.
My problem with if I get like a thin waffle, I'm just trying to syrup it up so much that it like turns into a pancake.
Yeah.
Like roll. I'd go pancake.
I will say, like, we keep Eggos on hand for the kiddos, but I won't eat those like breakfast. Those are really good if you put them like with peanut butter on them, like slather on peanut butter. Those are good. But when we're talking just like a plate with that and some butter and syrup, I think I might lean back pancake actually.
Next level, dude. Eggos with peanut butter with syrup.
No.
What?
No.
Dude, it's fire.
No.
Have you tried it?
No. But it doesn't sound good. Peanut butter is a different.
You knocked me.
It's a different flavor profile.
No, there's some overlap there.
No.
Okay, we'll move on to the next one.
Sorry.
From Skip and Dip or Skip Nip. Sorry,
Skip Nip.
This next one's a no-brainer for me.
Oh, yeah.
Syrup or dry?
Syrup.
All of it.
I will say, like, I've been in austere conditions where I had a pancake or a waffle and nothing else. If you're hungry enough, down the hatch. But in any proper establishment, we're going syrup.
You typically can't bring me enough syrup. Like whatever you're gonna bring me, bring another.
I feel like
one.
you're putting a little too much on your. Like you're like at that point, I could be giving you just some fried matter, and you. Have you ever had a pancake with fruit yogurt on it?
No,
it's good.
That is two different fruit.
It tastes.
I'm not even gonna listen to you on that one.
It tastes like cake, man. It's really good.
Yogurt.
Yeah, like fruit yogurt, not like Greek, no flavor yogurt. Put some Yoplait on a pancake.
I'm not gonna do that.
Thank me later.
So, what about yogurt and syrup?
Yeah. Dude, you need to see a dentist.
I got great teeth.
Okay.
You know what? Do you know what pancake and waffle with no syrup is like?
Wait, pancake and waffle with no. It's just bread.
It's like wings with no fucking ranch.
We pre-gamed our episode tonight with a wing restaurant that shall remain nameless, and they sent us home ranchless.
And like I explained at the dinner table, the worst part about it is I picked a special that you put together.
It comes with ranch.
You did the 20 rack with fries and 2 dipping sauces, and I order your pre-made package, and you don't put it together right.
Okay, can we just say, I understand your frustration because you ordered a thing that didn't come. Those wings had delicious sauces slathered all over them. So when he said there's no ranch, do you know what I said?
Only one person freaked out, and you can probably guess who it was.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
It's not only that it's threefold. It's one, I asked for it and I didn't get it.
Yeah.
It's 2, you were the one that told me I was going to get it and I didn't get it. And 3, it's wings with no ranch. Like
he called them. He called them and told them about it. And they said, all right, we'll refund you for the ranch. Not the meal, not the French fries. Not the brownie.
I was going to ask him to deliver the ranch. She said, "Do you want to come get it?" And I said, "Well, if I wanted to come get it,
come
I
on
would
back."
I would just come. I wouldn't call you. I would just come get it."
We had a great meal. It was
Lord.
good. It was good.
I ate it, but I wasn't happy
No
about it.
ranch needed.
All right, last part from Skip and Dip.
Okay.
I'm so
skip and dip.
I'm sorry. I see the big N, and normally that's like an N, and then
It's all
skip,
right.
nip.
Skip nip.
I apologize.
Doesn't roll off the tongue, skip nip, I got to tell you.
It needs to be Skip and Dip. You can have that one.
Yeah. We're thinking ranch, you know.
What's your thoughts on cranberry juice?
It's good with vodka.
Yeah. I don't know that I've ever
A splash.
I don't want to say never.
I need enough to dull down that dry ass potato taste in the vodka, but not so much that I'm like, cranberry juice.
It's what orange juice to champagne is.
Yes.
You just need a splash.
Yes. I'm never sitting around. I don't drink juice because I'm an adult. Like, I never just like, I need some Welshes. But
Some V8.
yeah, some V8 splash. But cranberry juice as an additive to other things it has its uses.
Generally, I drink water and alcohol on the occasion.
Sure.
So I'm not a big, like, just drink for taste.
Fruit of the vine, you know.
Yeah, like if I'm going to consume a liquid, I'd prefer it to either hydrate me or make me feel good. So a drink that's just kind of high in sugar, doesn't benefit me, and it's just mostly for taste,
Yeah.
I typically don't do.
I don't know. That's kind of apropos though. You don't do the cranberry sauce at Thanksgiving?
no,
I don't either. I don't.
something weird going on with that.
I think whether it's I've had homemade. My wife makes pretty good homemade cranberry sauce. I've had it from the can. I got to say, what a weird thing that we chose.
Yeah.
Skip. I don't know. Cranberry juice. Like if the world's supply dried up, I think I'd keep on living.
What are your thoughts on cranberry juice?
Yeah.
I would have liked to seen your answers on
Yeah.
there.
Do you-
Yeah. Never mind. Thanks for the question.
Skip nip. Thank you. Yes.
We appreciate it. You're
Yeah.
oh, sorry.
No, that's all right.
All right.
All right. Our next one comes to us from M.Little from Instagram. Thank you
M.
for writing in, M. This one's kind of a long one, but I like it. It tees up talking about music. I'm not sure about the type of questions you're looking for, but I have an awesome topic, I think. It's about the law of diminishing returns. I think we've talked about this before, specifically to metal music. When I was growing up around 4 or 5, I remember laying in the back of my mom's Pontiac, listening to Marilyn Manson, Megadeth, various other bands. As I grew older, my palette of musical genres expanded, but it had always been rooted in metal. I sympathize with that. The older I got, the heavier and more distorted types of metal I was seeking. I'm at the point now where I still love older metal and reminisce about mosh pits and crowd kills, but what gets me going now and what I'm actively seeking is deep, guttural lows, pig squeals, preach, brother, and all the chaos that comes with it. Some of my favorite bands at the moment are Behead the Betrayer, never heard of them. Arcania, never heard of them. Wow, I had to study up. Extermination Dismemberment, wow. Disfiguring the Goddess, man. That's some deep cuts, brother. While I love these bands and I can find myself always wanting more, can you relate? The law of diminishing returns. So Cody and I are big Metallica fans. Very much. We listen to Metallica. Really, I think I'd say 95% of my proper like music enjoying experience in my life has had Metallica as a part of it.
Yeah.
It's a great band. We got to see them earlier this year. It was fucking fantastic. Just completely electric. I will say that I've come back to them because there was a period where that happened, where I started getting into, they were definitely the gateway that got me into heavier and heavier and heavier music. And eventually coming back to them felt like going from, it was like going back to the Beatles.
Right.
Almost.
Yeah.
Just in terms of a lot of what is good about Metallica happened in the 80s,
right.
in the 90s, right? So there was a production gap there from what you can achieve now. But I think now that I'm older and I've kind of realized that a lot of the songs that they wrote in the early 80s, mid 80s, late 80s, 90s, even, you know, a lot of the stuff they made in the 2000s is actually really good. And the album they just came out with, 72 Seasons, actually really good entry.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be another, and Hardwired's really good.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
I think they kind of lost me around the Death Magnetic. I didn't really care for Saint Anger. A lot of people don't. That's fine. I honestly, I kind of see that album having like Creed's kind of having a renaissance right now. I feel like Saint Anger is like right on the cusp of like, people are gonna be like, you know what, fuck it, Saint Anger's good now. Maybe. You know what? We like trash cans. We don't care. But that's kind of how I relate to that. Is the heavier music I got into and the higher production level that is achievable now in 2023 does kind of make the music that I listened to in my youth sound like someone made it in a garage a little bit.
It's thin, and it doesn't have. I mean, some of the stuff that we listen to is so produced, you know, like it's
for you non-metal music listeners out there. There is an abundance. Anything that's getting put out on Spotify now, for the large part, a lot of production work going into that, and a lot of special attention, especially with stuff like metal music, because metal, especially modern metal music, is very complex.
Yeah.
I think, and there's a lot of like synth and even just the bass, you know what I mean? Like if you put on a heavy metal song now and it moves your car around when you listen to it, something scientific had to occur for that to happen.
Computers were involved.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, so I think the law of diminishing returns, even heavy song, like we'll find a song, because we bounce songs off each other all the time. You know, for like gym jams and whatnot, you listen to the same song over and over again every day. You know, it becomes a part of your daily, especially like your workout playlist. Eventually you come to that song and it just doesn't give you any gas anymore.
Right. So make sure I'm under, what exactly are we talking about here? Law of diminishing. No, I'm following, but like, as far as law of diminishing returns, like,
I think what he was trying to say is that music and its ability to like move you, or we'll say by artists,
right?
It decreases over time.
Okay,
right?
Like the same thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Like there was a time like we both love Every Time I Die, right?
I understand.
Boom. Every Time I Die. We love that band. Ebola-Rama, when it came out in 2003 or whenever it did, that song changed the game. Mm-hmm. It's so good. It's so kinetic. It's really good.
Yeah.
I listen to that song now, and it's not that it's bad. It just doesn't move me the same way. And maybe it's because I've heard it a million times, or maybe it's because it came out 20 years ago, but it has lost some of its power, I guess.
I think part of it is you're just finding heavier and heavier stuff, but I think part of it's too just where technology is going and the way that music sounds today. Like you're talking about Metallica, like when they were, you know, back in the 80s, the only thing that's going on that record is something that you can physically make that noise with.
Yes.
Nowadays, you can have a program or a computer like make a noise.
Exactly.
You don't have to be able to physically create that noise to put it on there. So you get these really complex produced, like it sounds like a robot made it.
Yeah.
And so
like an 808 bass drop. If for all of you aspiring music makers out there, if you ever want to put an 808 bass drop in your music, Google 808 bass drop and copy and paste that wave file into your project. You have it now.
Yeah.
That's literally it.
I think it's just like with anything else, you kind of get almost desensitized, you know, like things get so extreme that once you go back to the thing that got you into it, you realize like how far apart those things are.
It is. And I will say again, this kind of comes with age. You kind of, everything comes back full circle, because I kind of had a Metallica renaissance this year, even before we went and saw him. But you realize that good songs are good songs regardless of how they sound. There's a lot of songs that I really appreciate that actually from a soundscape perspective kind of sound like shit coming through speakers. But if it's a good song, it's a good song. And that's, you know, there's going to be some pieces of music I feel like that just resonate with you regardless of how many times you've heard it, you know, just because you heard it at a very, you know, watershed moment in your life and it stuck with you, you know. But as far as my day-to-day music, yes, like absolutely. I do find myself in this perpetual state of like I need something heavier, or not even heavier, but I need something that vibrates at the right frequency. You know what I mean? Like there are certain songs that I feel like the bass or the guitar tone or the vocals or whatever, the drums are snappy. Those things will reach out, grab me, hold me, and you know, it's kind of a a ticking time bomb at that point for when I get bored with it and I got to move on to something else.
Yeah, I think so too. You can go so far down the like heavy rabbit hole that even like that band I showed you earlier today, Waybridge, or like some of these like Make Them Suffer. They're really heavy, but they have like more of a kind of melodic aspect to
a
them.
dynamic to them.
So yeah, exactly. So like you go down this heavy rabbit hole and you get to a point where you're like, I'm going to pivot a little bit, and you kind of start going down this, it's not just the same thing.
It's good to have a cleanse too. I definitely love heavy music. I think we both do, but we also have playlists that are completely a far shot from that just kind of bring everything back to maybe a more like a Zen place, or like I love vaporwave, anything that's just really like lo-fi, just kind of chill. So.
Dude, I've been getting into synthwave.
Yeah.
So it's when I work, specifically, I found these 2 playlists on YouTube, and it's just like 2 hours a piece worth of just like a synthwave mix.
Yeah.
It's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's so good. I love it so much.
It's I heard recently that if pictures are how we decorate space, music is how we decorate time. And I thought that was pretty apt.
That's deep.
It is. And there's certain spaces where if I'm in a creative mode where I'm trying to think of more, maybe it's some more content that I want to make that's kind of like on a cinematic level, I will put on some like movie scores. You know what I mean? Listen to that stuff. If I'm trying to chill, vibe, clean my house, we have a record player. I'll put on some old records and listen to some old like ragtime or whatever, like different music, different moods.
How does that sound?
Does
it sound noticeably different?
I think if you listen to an old record, like if you listen to an album that came out now on a record player, you're like, meh. It just sounds like modern music, honestly.
Okay.
There's a crackle every once in a while, But old records on a record player sound old. Yeah. And that's definitely, it kind of talks to, like spaces have energy, you know what I mean? Like I feel like records almost kind of carry a piece of that. You get to hear like something that the way you would have heard it back in the 60s, 70s, So definitely something to that. Hey.
This has been fun.
This has been great. Episode 3 in the can, baby.
Yeah.
We want to say thank you to everyone who wrote into the show. Thank you for everyone who's been sticking with us, enjoying the shorts, leaving comments. That means a lot. A lot of wind in our sails recently on that.
I was going to say, everybody that's left a positive comment, it means a lot. It really does. It really motivates and encourages us, and it goes a long way.
It does. And there's really, like we've both been making content on our own for a while, but to know that this is making an impact. We've had people talk about listening to this on their way to work and listening to this as part of their weekly podcast regimen. That's a really tightly managed thing for some people, you know, like typically if I take
tight circle,
if I take on a new podcast, I'm usually bumping one out, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that means a lot that we would that you would let us bump something out. But continue to listen. Again, we're on all platforms now. We're on, obviously you can watch us on YouTube, but Spotify, Apple Podcasts, some of the other ones that I don't remember the names.
If they have podcasts, we're probably on it.
We're probably on it. So,
and if we're not, feel free to let me know.
Exactly. If you are listening instead of watching, we want to encourage you to leave a review. That is good as gold for us on the audio platforms. It helps bump our visibility up. If you like us, hate us, give us a little star rating and tell us what you thought about the show.
5 stars only, please.
5 stars only, or kick rocks. We ain't trying to, no, I'm kidding. Be honest with this. We're consistently deliberating and working on raising the quality of both the audio and the visual product for you guys. But want to say thank you, and we are excited to keep bringing you content. That was going somewhere. That trailed off.
We have some good stuff. We have good guests coming up.
We do.
I mean, that was going somewhere too. We got good.
It's time to be done. No, hey, thank you very much. Links to all the stuff Cody was talking about with
Vagrant Holiday.
Vagrant Holiday in the bio. We'll link to that on the YouTube as well as our audio component.
Check them out. Give some feedback. I'd love to hear if anybody actually goes and watches. Like, let me know if it enticed you as much as
if you go down the rabbit hole. Let us know what you think, because I can tell you what we're going to be doing once we hit end record on this. Thanks for tuning in. I've been One Punch Dad.
I've been Cody. I'm Code Roams.
We'll catch you on the flippy.
See ya.